Most of us imagine a version of ourselves that cannot be hurt, a state where criticism, rejection, and betrayal bounce off without leaving a mark. To get there, the usual strategy is isolation. We build psychological walls, craft impenetrable masks, and convince everyone that we simply don't care. But holding up that shield takes an enormous amount of continuous effort. You spend your days projecting strength, constantly managing an image of invulnerability, leaving you entirely exhausted by the time you finally have a moment to yourself. This strategy of hiding makes you a hostage to the environment. You find yourself constantly reacting to the words, actions, and even the silences of others, trying to predict and prevent anything that might crack your facade. The harder you try to dictate how the world should treat you, the more tension you create. Clinging to the illusion of control guarantees that the things you fear most will keep dictating your life. This creates a cruel irony. You can spend years perfecting a tough exterior, only to find yourself entirely dismantled by a passing comment from a coworker or a text left unread. Meanwhile, you see others navigate massive, devastating losses, career failures, sudden grief, with a quiet, steady clarity that seems almost impossible. If our psychological defenses are built so thick, why does everyday life still leave us quietly bleeding out behind closed doors? The fragility doesn't come from feeling too much. It comes from the desperate, exhausting effort to run away from what you are actually feeling in the first place. Carl Jung observed that two people can experience the exact same rejection, yet only one is devastated by it. He proposed that an external event only has the power to hurt you if it finds an echo in an open wound existing inside you. When actions hurt you, they activate old traumas. Jung mapped the unconscious as a massive force of memories operating below awareness. Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate. The words that destroy you only work because they hit targets you tried to sweep under the rug. They hit parts of you that are still very much alive and waiting for your attention. When you ignore internal pain, it mutates. It disguises itself as chronic anxiety, a sudden apathy for your hobbies, or the same toxic relationship pattern repeated with a different partner. Jung viewed suffering as the biological alarm system of the soul. It is the language your deeper self uses to force your attention onto parts of your life that require immediate change. The pain you feel is the violent friction of an internal war. On one side, your ego demands that everything remain comfortable and controlled. On the other, your deeper self is forcefully demanding growth. This means your emotional distress is the necessary, painful friction required for you to evolve past the coping mechanisms you have outgrown. The path forward is what Jung called individuation, the process of becoming entirely whole. Achieving this requires tearing down the persona, the convenient, agreeable mask you wear for society, and finally confronting the parts of yourself you consider unacceptable. You must look directly at your deepest shame, need for validation, and irrational anger. Deliberately integrate them back into your identity. Once you own your darkest parts, they lose their leverage. A fully accepted flaw can no longer be used as a weapon against you. A fully integrated core provides a strength that cannot be dismantled from the outside. Exploring your own depths inevitably creates a sense of isolation. As you drop your masks, you naturally distance yourself from the people around you who are still frantically guarding theirs. Absolute emotional strength is a product of supreme internal clarity. You will absolutely still feel pain, and you will still suffer losses. The difference is experiencing those things without losing your center or drowning. If you only live on the surface of yourself, you will be thrown off balance by every passing wave. But if you take the time to map your own depths, the world may crash against you, but it will never find a place to break you.